besties, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Grace, lovely to meet you. So for today's video, we are going to be doing Instagram chooses my reads for a week. I'm like so excited to do a video like this. I've been wanting to do this for a while now, so I'm glad that I'm finally getting to it. So basically, if you do not know how this works, I am going to be putting up 2 different books on my Instagram story, and I'm going to make it a poll. So whichever book has the most votes is the one that I'm going to read, and then I'm going to do that for about a week or so. It just, I guess, depends how long it takes me to read each book, but yeah, that's basically the gist of it. The 2 books that I picked was Happy Place and Flawless, and this might seem very like rigged because I just have a feeling that Happy Place is gonna win. However, Flawless, even though it's not a new release, it's very popular. I see this book daily on my Instagram feed. A lot of people like it. There's a lot of hype surrounding it. So I think it might give Happy Place a run for their money. When I was choosing which 2 books I wanted to pick for this first poll, I knew Happy Place was one of the picks because 1, it's a new release, and 2, I just been seeing people rave about it, and so I really want to read it. However, I didn't want to put it up against another book that isn't that popular and then Happy Place automatically win. Like, I want her to fight for it, so that's why I picked Flawless. So yeah, I'm gonna post a poll on my story and then I will update you guys on which book won. I probably won't keep it up all day. I'll probably wait like an hour or so just because I'm like in a big mood to read. So I want to get this ball moving. I want to get it flowing, okay? So it is the next day and the poll between Happy Place and Flawless is finalized. Happy Place won with 109 votes, and I think Flawless got 61. So it was not even close, but Flawless did get quite a bit of votes, so I might move her on to the next round. Like for the next poll, she might also be a contender. But yeah, Happy Place won. I did not read any of it yesterday because I went to a Sabrina Carpenter concert. It was amazing. She was phenomenal. So I will probably start this today. I have orientation at my new job today, and I have to do some homework just to like finalize my grades for the semester. I guess the school year, because the school year is basically done. But yeah, I'm super excited to start this. I have heard nothing but good things. I'm pretty sure I'm going to annotate it because I've heard that Emily Henry's writing has like improved so much in this book. So yeah. Hello, so it is update time. 1, I am in a totally new location. I am currently visiting my parents, so I'm not at my apartment where I normally am filming my videos. So yeah. But it has been a couple of days since I filmed the last clip just because I haven't really had time to read, so there wasn't really anything to like update you guys on. But on my way here, I started a Happy Place. I took off the slipcover just because it was getting kind of annoying. It was getting in my way. Just another reason why I don't like hardbacks. But I started it yesterday on the car ride here, and I probably got like 30% through, and then I read it some more this morning, and now I'm 60% through, and I started to annotate a little bit more of it. So yeah, I really love this book so far. I definitely understand what people are saying about how it feels like Emily Henry's writing has improved. Like the descriptions and just like the lyricalism in her writing is just coming through. Some of the quotes are just so gut-wrenching and like swoon-worthy. I just love it so much. So basically what Happy Place is about, it's about Harriet and Wynn, I think that's how you say his name, and they met in college and they have been dating ever since. They even got engaged. However, now they are broken up and they haven't told their friends because every year their friend group, which like is comprised of like 6 people, meets every year at this lake house in Maine, and they didn't want to ruin the trip for all their friends, so they didn't tell them. So Harriet, the main girl, the narrator of the story, she went alone this year just because they have an agreement that they are going to switch off every other year just to make it civil and fair. But when she arrives, her friends, who don't know that her and Win broke up, surprised her and had Win there when she showed up. And so now they are sharing a room together. So it is Forks proximity. I definitely second chance romance, friends to lovers. It goes from the past and present timeline. So you're getting bits and pieces of how they fell in love and like their relationship before they broke up. And then you're getting them in like present time. And it's just so good. I love the found family aspect of this book. I love the summer vibes. It is so good, but it is so sad. There's just I feel like this book is a little bit deeper than Emily Henry's books in the past. And so there's a lot more like trauma and just like sad, emotional backstories, which I really like because I think it gives the characters more depth and it kind of makes them feel more real in my head. So yeah, I am really loving it. If I had to predict, it's definitely going to be a 5-star for me. I just really enjoy it. Highly recommend picking it up, even though I'm not completely done yet. It's just so good. And then I saw some people say that they didn't like Win, that he just like didn't hit for them, and I don't know how that is happening for some people, because this man, some of the things that he says to Harriet just like blows me away. Just speechless. So since I'm almost done with this book and I'm probably going to finish it today, I think I'm going to put out another poll on my Instagram story so I can know what my next read is. So yeah, I will update you then. Okay, so I gave it some thought, and the 2 books that I am going to put in a poll together are Flawless and In a Jam. They are both very popular, and I think it's going to be a tough call. It's going to be a tight race. I know Flawless was in the last poll I did, but I think since it's such a popular book right now on Bookstagram and Book Talk, BookTube, whatever, I think it deserves a second shot, especially because Happy Place has so much hype surrounding it. Like, it wasn't even a fair chance for Flawless. In a Jam is also very popular on BookTube and Bookstagram, at least from what I'm seeing. Basically, it's about this girl, and she has recently inherited her family farm, and in order to receive her farm, she must be married in order to do so. So since she is single as a Pringle, she enters this marriage of convenience with this single dad. So it has marriage of convenience trope, small town, and single dad. So very excited. I've never read a single dad trope before, but I've heard very good things about this book. Flawless is about a famous bull rider, and basically he has a bad reputation. He's kind of a wild child, if you want to say that, I guess, and his manager is like, you need to get your act under control. So he enlists his daughter to basically babysit the famous bull rider and to make sure he behaves and is on his best behavior. So it has Forks proximity, kind of forbidden love because he can't really date her. Cowboy, it's a cowboy romance. So yeah, I'm very excited. I will be putting these 2 on a poll together, and I will let you know which one won. I am currently 300 pages into A Happy Place, and I am not in a happy place. I am mentally unwell. I am mentally unstable. Emily Henry just put all the feels into this book and did not care about the repercussions whatsoever. Literally the entire book is just me wanting and like craving Harriet and Win to like work it out. Like, why can't these 2 crazy kids just work it out? And it's getting to a point where I just don't know if there's gonna be a happy ending. I just don't know what's like in store for this book. I definitely get why people are loving this book more than Beach Read, because even though Beach Read is an amazing book and like Book Lovers is an amazing book, this book is just on a whole different level than every other book that Emily Henry has ever written. It's just so much more like impactful, I think. And the fact that I don't even know if there's going to be a happy ending just like speaks volumes, because like you just don't know. Like, it's not predictable whatsoever. I went into this book thinking that it was going to be a happy, lighthearted, fun summer read, like how basically all her books are. And I was just not well equipped for the ride, for the roller coaster that I am on currently. I have about 80 pages left, so that's why I'm just like having a mid-book crisis, I guess, because I really don't know how this book is going to end. I'm shaking in my boots to find out. So, I have about 80 pages left, so I'll probably binge it all tonight because, wow, this book is just everything. Starting off this video really strong, honestly. So, I just finished Happy Place by Emily Henry, and let me tell you right now, you need to read this book. Go to your local bookstore and buy this book. I know everyone was in a tizzy because it was released in a hardback first and not a paperback, but you need to read this book because it will change you. It's probably one of my new favorite books. I predicted that it was going to be a 5-star read, and it was a 5-star read. I absolutely love Emily Henry, but I feel like this book is just like top tier. Even if I read this and I didn't know, like, even if I read this book and didn't know who Emily Henry was, I think I would still feel the same way, because this book feels so much different than all her other books. I feel like that's a point I keep stressing because it's just on a whole different level. If I could, this would be a 10 out of 5 because there's just no words. The ending was perfection. It was everything it needed to be. I'm not going to explain any further, but yeah. This book was just so amazing. I loved the found family in it. I loved Harriet's character development. I loved Wynn's character development. And just like the friend group's character development, like as a whole, just them realizing that it's okay for relationships to change. I think that's just something that throughout your life you realize that you have to cope with, that like you're not going to have the same level of friendship you have when you're 16 at the age that you are like at 20 and so forth. You're not going to have the same relationship or friendship dynamic when you're 21 and then you're 30. You change, you evolve, the dynamics alter. And I think that's just a life lesson that like not a lot of people realize or like stress on when you get older. Because I remember in high school, my friends would want to hang out like every single day, and now I'm at a point where I'm setting boundaries where I would like to hang out with you, but not every single day, because I need time to be alone and I need time to just sit and do nothing. And then there's also times to be social and crazy, and yeah, so I thoroughly enjoyed this book. If you are worried about the level of spice, there isn't that much spice. Like, this is a book that I would recommend to my mom. I think Emily Henry does a really good job of having romance and spice and like those kind of things that make romance books like a lot of fun, but not too much where you're like, this is like utter filth. I feel like it's more character plot driven more than romance. Yeah, so I have the poll on my Instagram, and it's only been about 3 hours, but Flawless is winning by 45 votes. So I might start Flawless now. I don't really know. I might wait until tomorrow. We shall see. I'll update you guys if I decide to start Flawless. But I feel like I just need to like marinate in this book for a little bit and just really take everything in. I don't want to dive right into another book and then fall into a slump. So it is the next day. The poll has been finalized. Flawless ended up winning by about 54%, and then In a Jam got 46. So it was pretty close for the longest time. In a Jam actually was in the lead, and then Flawless started to pull through. The cowboy girlies really wanted Flawless, so yeah, I'm actually really happy that Flawless won. That's the one that I was secretly rooting for, just because everyone has been raving about the Chestnut Spring series, and I am ready to enter my cowboy era. Okay, I am ready to be a country bumpkin, if you will. I started the book this morning, and I'm about 50 pages in, and I'm really enjoying it. I didn't know if this was small town or enemies to lovers, just because I feel like mostly everyone is focusing on the cowboy aspect and like the ranch kind of thing that's going on, but it is a small town, enemies to lovers, right up my alley, if you will. It's also dual POV. I didn't know that. At first, I thought we were just gonna get the girls' POV, and then we got Red's POV. I was like, yes, this is so good. And can we just admire the limited edition covers real quick? That is flawless, gorgeous, love, stunning. And like all the chapters start with like this really cool kind of skull picture. I don't know, it's just really cool. I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm probably gonna read a bunch of it today, so I will update you guys. Just a reminder, this video is spoiler free, so do not worry, I am not gonna spoil anything. Yeah, see you guys in a bit. So I figured it was time for an update. I'm about 75 pages into Flawless, and Rhett is so swoon-worthy. He's being kind of a jerk to Summer just because he doesn't want her there, doesn't want a babysitter, whatever. Just throwing a huge man tantrum. And they pull up because they're going to a bar with his brothers. And even though he's like mad at her and just annoyed by her presence, he still opens the door for her and like when they're walking on the street, repositions her so she is on the inside of the sidewalk and not the outside where the road is. That is just beautiful behavior, A+ behavior. Like, we love to see it. Rhett is such a gentleman. Stan, love, king. But yeah, I am really enjoying it so far. I really love the family dynamics of like all the brothers and Rhett. And I love that like even though they aren't really like friends yet, Summer can still like read Rhett so well. So yeah. So I am about 200 pages into Flawless, which really surprises me just because I did not think I would be flying through this book as quickly as I am. Nothing really significant has happened, and this book isn't really that fast-paced because of that reason. It's very much kind of slow burn. Like I'm halfway through and like not an ounce of romance. Rhett and Summer, they're mainly just like building their relationship and their friendship and like confiding in one another, which I really enjoy. But Elsie Silver, her writing style is very effortless. It kind of reminds me of Lucy Score. Effortless, easy to read. So I think that's why I've been just going through this book so fast. But yeah, I honestly think I might be finishing this today. I took a small break from reading just to like get some work done and work on a few things. But now that I'm kind of at a point where I can stop my work and not be productive anymore, I think I'm gonna jump back into this book. But before I do that, I think I might post another poll on my Instagram story, so then when I do finish Flawless, I have my next read ready. So the two books that I think I'm gonna put on the poll are Savage Lover by Sophie Lark, which is the third book in the Brutal Birthright series. The Brutal Birthright series is a mafia romance series, and it's an interconnected standalone series. So each book is about a different couple. And then I think I'm also going to post Collided. I recently read Throttled. That was my first read of the month that I finished. And this is the second book in the series. It's an interconnected standalone series about F1 racing. And this book focuses on Sophie and Liam, who we see a lot in the first book. So I'm very excited to read their book just because we get a lot of hints about their relationship. So I'm gonna put these two books on my Instagram and we shall see. It is the next day and I am 300 pages into Flawless. The story is really picking up, I would say. I was worried that the slow burn would feel too slow or like dragged on, which just really aggravates me as a reader because even though I don't like slow burns, I can't appreciate a very good one. Case in point, I like Mariana Zapata, so yeah. As for this slow burn, I was not really annoyed or aggravated. I felt like the tension and the back and forth and just like the relationship building was phenomenal. It didn't really feel like a slow burn at times because there was always this like push and pull and attraction, and since they were starting to become friends, I think that helped a lot as well. So yeah, I would not say that this is enemies to lovers, to be fair, because I know it's kind of classified as enemies to lovers, but it just doesn't feel like that. I didn't feel like their hatred towards each other was long enough for them to be enemies. For anything, I think it's Grumpy X Sunshine, just because Rhett is super grumpy and Summer is just a little bit more positive and bright, I would say. But yeah, still like really good tropes in this book. Forks proximity, forbidden romance kind of, because she's the daughter of his agent, so she's kind of off limits. Yeah, I just am really enjoying it. It doesn't feel like a very long book. I was a little worried about that because sometimes romance books, if there isn't other stuff going on, it kind of can feel long and boring until the romance picks up. But I don't really know that much about bull riding, so I think the whole bull riding aspect really added that like element of interest for me. So just like learning about bull riding and them going on tour and like going to all these different events was really interesting for me. So yeah, highly recommend. I'm definitely gonna pick up the next two books. Yeah, entering my cowboy era for real. So since I'm almost done with Flawless, I did end up making a poll last night on my Instagram between Collided and Savage Lover. So the results are in. Collided ended up winning by 57%, and then Savage Lover got 43%. Personally, I was really rooting for Savage Lover to win just because I've been wanting to continue the Brutal Birthright series for a while now. I read the first two in, I want to say December, January-ish, like in the winter. And I have been wanting to read the next two for a while now. I just never got around to purchasing them until now. But I'm not mad about Collided winning because I did just finish Throttled earlier this month. So I'm really excited to continue that series. And I feel like when you take really long breaks in between reading series, you kind of lose momentum. So yeah, so after I finish Flawless, I will start Collided. Collided is the second book in the Dirty Air series. It's about Sophie and Liam. In the first book, we really get hints about their relationship, so I'm excited to learn more about them. I'm excited to know all the secrets and the tea that we never get to learn in the first book, but yeah. I just finished reading Flawless, and it's safe to say that I am fully obsessed with the Chestnut Springs series. I understand the hype that is cowboy romances now. I'm in my cowboy era, and I will be purchasing the next 2 books once I make a dent in all the books that I just recently bought. So yeah, keep a lookout for that. Maybe I'll do a reading vlog, but I am so excited about the next book though, because it's about Cade and Willa, and Cade is Rhett's older brother who lives on the ranch and he has a son, and Willa is Summer's best friend, and she ends up becoming the nanny for Cade's kid. So a lot of people say that that book is their favorite, like it tops this book completely. So I am just very excited to continue on. I'm most excited about though is Jasper's story. Jasper is like a close family friend of the Eaton boys, and I think he's getting his own book if it's not out already, and he's a hockey player, and if you know me, you know I'm a big fan of hockey romances, so I'm just counting down the days until that book is a real thing. But yeah, back to talking about Flawless and not me fangirling over the Chestnut Spring Boys, but Flawless is definitely like a 4-star for me. It wasn't a 5-star just because I just read Happy Place before reading this, and that book just like screamed 5 stars for me, but I really enjoyed this book. And I just think that a 3 to 3.5 just doesn't do this book justice, especially because it was so easy to get through. I read it within 2 days. Like I read 200 pages yesterday, and then I read about 200 pages today. So like the want and the need to like continue this book was there. And that's how I know like, okay, I like this book because I'm not dreading picking it up. Like, for example, I just recently read Throttled, and even though I really enjoyed that book, every now and then it would just be like a struggle to pick it up just because it just didn't feel anything substantial. Like, I really liked the characters, but I didn't like them as much as I had previous books, and so like that book was a 3.5 for me because it was fun, but it wasn't like grasping my attention 24/7. Like for this book, I just like got enraptured with everything, and I think the whole like bullfighting aspect was really exciting for me. I understand like I don't think I would go and like watch bull riding in person just because it kind of seems inhumane at some points, but since this is purely fictional, it was really riveting. And honestly, the ending really got me. I just did not see that happen, which doesn't really happen to me with romance books because I feel like romance books, they have a set formula, but I didn't really see what Rhett did happening. It took me by surprise, if you will. But yeah, definitely a 4-star. Rhett was an amazing character. I really liked him. I wish we kind of dove into more of his issues surrounding his family and maybe like his career. I feel like that was something that got unresolved. And the same thing with Summer. I wish we kind of delve more into her issues as well, just to like add some depth to the book. However, I think this book, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be somewhat light-hearted, and it's just that. So I really enjoyed it. I would recommend picking it up. I think it's a different kind of romance. I honestly haven't read or seen that many cowboy romances before on booktube or bookstagram and stuff. So if you kind of want to change a pace between the like boss romances or like the billionaire romances, things like that, like the very common storylines, I would definitely pick this up because this was my first cowboy romance, like I said, and it was just so much fun. It was so much fun to be in the thoughts of, or I guess the mindset of a bull rider. So yeah. The next book that I'm reading for this video is Collided by Lauren Asher, which is the second book in the Dirty Air series. But I don't think I'm going to start it today just because I kind of want to marinate in the feelings that I have with Flawless and just like, you know, give myself time to reset before starting a new book. So yeah, I will update you guys soon. So it is a few days later. I am back in my apartment and I finished reading Collided. I ended up not really filming any update clips for this book, so I'm just gonna give you all my thoughts and feelings right now. So you're welcome. This book was a 3 out of 5 for me. It's about Sophie and Liam. Sophie is the daughter of the team manager for Bandini, and Liam is a driver for McCoy, which is the rival team for Bandini. And Liam is kind of like a playboy. He recently experienced a scandal and he's trying to renew his image, trying to clean up his image, so he's able to sign and get good deals because his contract is up for renewal. So that's kind of fun. I would say the two biggest tropes in this book are friends to lovers and friends with benefits. And if you know, you know, like I am not the biggest fan of friends with benefits or friends to lovers in books just because it's kind of anticlimactic for me. Like there's really no build up, I want to say, which is kind of what was my main issue with this book. At the very start, there's initial attraction between Sophie and Liam. There's friendly banter, which I really enjoyed. However, I just felt like it was a lot of waiting around. Like we know they like each other, like just get to it already. So the whole book, you're like, okay, like we get it. You like each other, but you guys aren't gonna do anything. I wish there was just more of a build up, more of a, oh, like we're friends and it's purely platonic, like we don't have any feelings to each other, but like maybe like there is like a little spark, but like there was never like pure platonic friendship between Sophie and Liam. There was always like flirtation and things like that, which some people might really enjoy, but it just wasn't for me. It made me very impatient and kind of discouraged me from picking up the book. However, I rated it a 3 just because Throttled for me was a 3.5, and I really did enjoy this book, especially like learning more about Liam and his grief and like what he is going through. And at the very end, there was a lot of like drama and things like pulling me in, but I just felt like I liked Maya and Noah's character a little bit better. Sophie, she was enjoyable at times, but every now and then it was just like you were just giving way too much like 2012 Wattpad like main character. Like I felt like her character dated the book very much so. It felt like something I would have read on Wattpad back in my middle school days, but yeah, I really did like the epilogue. The epilogue kind of, I guess the extended epilogue, because the regular epilogue doesn't really go that far into the future, but the extended epilogue goes 14 years into the future, and so all their kids are like kind of grown up, which I really liked. I know there's like kind of talk that there might be another series about their kids, or that there already is that series. I don't really know. But yeah, they're 3 out of 5. I would still recommend that you read this just because I feel like the main issue for me was that friends to lovers trope. But if you really like that kind of book and you like the friends with benefits trope, then I would pick it up. I don't like skipping books in interconnected series, but if this just doesn't pique your interest, then maybe it's a skip for you. But I am going to continue with the series. I really like the universe that this book takes place in, so yeah. So it has been well over a week since when I first started filming this video, so I think I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below, if you've read any of these books before and what your thoughts on them were. I would love to know. And if you are not already, make sure to subscribe. I have a lot of fun things planned for this channel and a lot of videos in the making. So if you want to see more of my face, then hit that subscribe button. And I also have a bookstagram, which is currently .overbooked. It's linked in my description. I post daily. I post reels, reviews, book updates, anything that has to do with my reading journey, I'm posting it on there. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon. Goodbye.